Houston, this episode is being brought to you by the Where You From t-shirt. It's a t-shirt that I designed from Still Visionary Inc. More details are coming soon, but I wanted to rack it one time so you know what I'm dropping every Monday as Motivation Monday. Um, Listen, this is the hottest podcast in Houston, Texas, and I'm looking at you right now because I need you to see how severe and how important what I'm saying is to you right now. This is the hottest podcast in Houston, Texas. Episode 15, I got a couple of announcements. But before we get off into the episode, man, peace and blessings to you, King. I love you, John Ross Dike II. Let's get into the show.
Jeremiah 29:11 says, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future." Dear John, the iconic legend Quincy Jones said, "To know where you came from makes it easier for you to get where you're going." Sean Diddy Combs said, "Everyone has challenges and lessons to learn. We wouldn't be who we are without them." If 2018 and the last 6 years taught you something, it's that anything is attainable with the right focus and determination. Continue to build. Continue to promote your vision. Continue to inspire creativity and make more creatives. In closing, Nas said, "No idea is original. There's nothing new under the sun. It's never what you do, but how it's done. The first chapter of your vision's movements is done. However, you're still a visionary." Peace and blessings. John Ross.
Yo, it feel like 95, Sachi on my body, Biggie, Jigga, Puffy, all that ballin' is a hobby, and I'm wildin' in my wallet.
Houston, Texas, man. Welcome back to episode 15 of the What's Next podcast, a production of Still Visionary Inc. My name is John Ross Dike I, and today is May the 22nd, 2019. Before we get started with the episode, man, I got a couple of things. Please follow me on Instagram and on Twitter at John Ross Dike and still_visionary. My website is stillvisionary.com. Connect with me on LinkedIn. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. Friend my fan page on Facebook, Still Visionary Inc. I also have a personal one, John Ross. And, just stay tuned, man. We got a couple of things that I want to talk about today. Today being March the 22nd. I'm sorry. I said that in a few episodes prior to this. Today being May the 22nd, we have 223 more days left in 2019, and it's been an eventful start of the year, man. This is episode 15, so by now I hope that you've streamed, and by stream I mean you've listened to and watched the previous 14 episodes, man. So we're cooking. And if you're not paying attention, you need to. All right, you need to tell somebody else that John Ross Dike has a podcast in Houston, Texas, entitled "What's Next." Right. So let me catch you up a little bit. Episode 8, I had my boy Corey Bright on, DJ That Dude. He was talking about with DJ, how he DJs, his style of DJing, and he walked us into the story about him and his wife, and walking into having a child. Episode 9, we had Kodak. Episode 9, 10, and 11 were right after the play I did earlier this year in the second quarter. And I had episode 9, I had Kodak on. Episode 10, I had Bink on. Episode number 11, I had Miss Blue on. Very, very informative episode, talking to a boss. And that was, that was very informative for me. I love sitting down with creatives, and I love talking to them about what it is that they do. And with her, especially, we, like I said in that episode, like I said in that episode, man, it's not many hustles that parallel to your hustle, man. So I talked to Miss Blue for a while, and that was a beautiful thing to finally get down and talk to her, because she's got a lot going on. Episode number 12, I talked to Chef Narika Chapman Henderson. And if you haven't already, listen, it'll be too late by the time you see this. This episode is going to drop next week on the 28th, right? So I need to remember to say Happy Memorial Day to everybody, all the veterans that serve America. But episode number 12, I had Chef Narika Chapman on the podcast, and we basically talked about her creativity, how she dug herself out the grave and got to where she is now. And episode number 13, I had my lovely sister, Donna Jo Dike. She talked about makeup on episode number 13, entitled Enhancement. And episode number 14, which you've already seen already. And if you haven't, it's now streaming on my website, SoundCloud, YouTube, and iTunes. But episode number 14, I had my girl, Kennedy, Sir John Monet, on. And she was talking about purpose, man. So if you haven't already, man, the podcast is going. All right. And when I say the hottest podcast, that's exactly what I mean. All right. I'm not going to wait for everybody to tell me I got the hottest podcast. I'm going to tell you that I got the hottest podcast, which is going to entice you to go and check it out. Right. So this is episode number 15. And let me start here. So for the past 4.5 years, I have been educating at Waltrip High School. I got my first contract in the 2015-16 school year. And that class is now graduating this year. So it's a bittersweet moment because as they've grown, as they've matured, I have too. Everybody who knows me and watching this, you know the production company I came from prior. I was doing that all the while educating at Waltrip High School. And we got to a point where I started to bubble. And let me not say bubble, but the heat on I was on the stove, and the stove started to get a little hot. And, throughout the duration of me being at Waltrip, I was wondering, what am I going to do in 4 years when my babies graduate? And because you kind of grow an attachment to these kids. You know what I'm saying? Somebody else's kids you take for about 8 hours a day. And in reality, it's almost about an hour and a half. But that schedule back then, I seen some of the kids, and in me teaching a critical subject like math, I seen some of my kids every day of the week. So you take somebody's kid for about 8 hours a day, and you foster them. They learn your personality. You learn their personality. And at the time, I was dealing with 14-year-olds. I had a couple of 13-year-olds in my class. So to see my 14-year-olds now grow to be 17, 18, they're now driving. They now have off campus. They're getting ready to graduate. Some of them are going to college. Some of them are going to CCs. It's just a beautiful thing. And so for myself, I started to wonder, what am I going to be doing in 4 years? And initially it was the fact that I probably would have got my MED and tried to move up in administration. But, dealing with the classroom, man, I mean, I think the biggest challenge is reaching them in the classroom, right? And so I'm still there. But in 4 years, Still Visionary Inc. Has arrived. It came to me one day, and here we are now, 15 episodes into the podcast. Got a t-shirt company that I also run through the company as well, and I produce this shirt as well as a few orders for people here and there in the city of Houston, Texas, and we're growing. So to class of 2019, when you see this, know that I love y'all, man, because I finally got what I was looking for out of high school, and that is to be able to connect with a teacher so that they could understand and kind of mold me in a different way than my parents could mold me. And I hope that I've been that for you all. If you're watching this, know that I love y'all, man, and I've watched y'all grow for the past 4 years, and it's been a magical thing. And so I could sound off a few, man, but I don't want to forget anybody. But no, the class of 2019 at Waltrip High School, man, I love y'all, man, because it's through y'all that I've matured to who I am today, and it's through y'all that I know how to be a better educator. It's through y'all that I know how to and am now a parent, and it's through y'all, man, that I just really found myself. So to y'all, peace and blessings to y'all. Anytime, if you're watching this, my number probably will change one day, but my Instagram handle at John Ross Dike at still_visionary, that won't change. And so I'm just a phone call away for y'all, man. And I appreciate y'all tolerating me And for those of you all that I've taught more than 1 year, that is, I taught you your freshman year and I also taught you your junior years, man. If you go out into the real world and you can't tell whoever asks you who was your math teacher in high school, and you ain't got nothing good to say about Mr. Dike, then please just go on and say that you never had a math teacher and you never learned nothing. But if you can't say something good about me, tell them that I was your math teacher, man, and I taught you 2 years, man. So moving on, man. So Houston, Texas, man. You may have heard early on in the episode I shouted out my kid. In episode 1 of the podcast, I come on here and I said that at the end of the episode, I said what was next for me was that I was going to be becoming a father. Well, my kid was originally stated to be due in July the 14th, right? I'm 9/18. He would have been July the 14th. But, certain things happen for a reason. And my son is here. He came a little early, 8 weeks early. He's a preemie, and he's in the NICU. So my sister-in-law, shout out to you, Amber Richardson, for coming up with we're doing like a prayer call or something like that. So I want to solicit y'all prayers. Every day, my wife, Amber, my auntie, Aunt Letha May, my mother-in-law, now my mother, Sister Sheila, Rhea, Taylor, and the other members from 305, every day at 7:14 a.m., 1 p.m., and 7:14 p.m., we stop what we're doing to pray for my son. He's in the NICU, and it'll be a while before he gets out. He's a preemie. That's what they do with preemies. They take preemies, they put them in the NICU because, they're still trying to get all the nutrients that they were supposed to get in that 40-week term period. But because 40 weeks term period, but because he came out at 32 weeks, they want to be precautious and make sure that he still gets all those nutrients, right? So he's in the NICU right now. And every day, when you watch this episode next Tuesday, the 28th, I want you to 7:14, 1 p.m. and 7:14 p.m. I would love for it to be all 3 days, right? But if it can't be all 3 days, maybe one of those time periods during the day, go on and shout a prayer for my son. He will need all the prayers that he can get. I pray for him, I read to him, I talk to him daily, and he's just it's going to be a long road before we can get him home. But we're optimistic and we're staying prayed up. So if you rock with me, man, just go ahead and drop that prayer. Lift him up in meditation, pray for him, and just be keeping my family and myself in mind, man. So I had a boy, and I guess that answers the question of the poem that I did in episode number 7, Baby D, the poem I entitled Society. I didn't think that there was any need to know the sex of the child, right? Before you can set expectations with these kids now and their mental conditions and how they are right now, I just was praying and wanted to have a healthy boy, a healthy child rather. So the sex of the child wasn't important to me until the child got here, right? Because I didn't want to start making plans before, it's going to be a boy, or it's going to be a boy, this and this and that. I want to do this for my boy. I want to do this for my daughter. I didn't want to do all of that. I wanted that when my son or daughter got here, the first day, for me to be able to then begin to plan for them. Okay, and so in that 36-week, 40-week period, I just wanted to make sure that my wife was healthy. I wanted to make sure that she needed not for anything, and that we were just cultivating a healthy environment for her to successfully have a baby. And in that, the baby came a little early, but God works the way He want to work. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not mad at that. I'm grateful for it. In fact, every time I pray, I thank God for the opportunity to have become a father. Many people have tried and are still trying and haven't quite attained that title, but I'm grateful for it. So 32 weeks or whatever, man, with y'all prayers, my prayers, my family's prayers, we Baby D, which we call him, John Ross II, will be out soon, right? So this episode is dedicated to him, man. I love you. And, you know, what I wanted to provide for you, pardon me, what I wanted to provide for you, man, is the opportunity to, you know, take on something that you may or may not like later on. You know what I'm saying? When you're able to come home with the blessings of your mother, right? You'll be on here with me at least 1 or 2 episodes. Sort of like my girl Melly will bring little Jamal on the podcast, on the previous podcast we used to do. She will bring Jamal on. I kind of want you to experience that same type of thing with me. I want you to, you know, see yourself on camera when you grow up. Oh, I was on camera. I was a little actor or whatever it is. You know what I'm saying? So I want to provide, because I can provide that opportunity. I'm going to provide that opportunity for you, man. So, you know, when you get old enough, strong enough, and you're ready, man, you know, you always got a spot next to your pops, man. So I want to say that I love you, man. And you know, it's, you know, you're here, and it's no more me wondering what sex you are, because I know what you are now. You're a boy, my baby boy, and you know, I'm super elated about that, because you know, you have a boy, man. A healthy child is a healthy child, man. You know what I'm saying? If I had a girl, albeit, man, that's what the Lord willed for me to have, that's what I'm gonna have, you know what I'm saying? But I got a boy, so my name will carry on for years and years, you know what I'm saying? As long as he has a boy and my grandson has a boy, my last name will carry on forever, man. So I'm just appreciative that my first one was a boy, man. It's a boy, baby. He's a boy, and he is a preemie, but you know, he's a fighter. I want you to know that, John, you're a fighter, baby, and your dad is rocking with you as well, man. So what song's on my mind right now, man? I think, you know what? I'm gonna go Nas, man. I'm gonna go Nas. The world is yours. He had a line in there. He said, um, think of a word that's describing my life. Today, my daughter, my strength, my son and star will be my resurrection. Born in correction, all the wrong shit I did. He'll lead in the right direction, man. So to my boy, the world is yours. That's the song that's on my mind right now. Nas, the world is yours. And just know, man, you're always on my mind. I love you, and everything I do from May 20th, 2019 is for you, right? So I want to close that segment with a moment. I want to pray right quick, man. I told you in episode 1, I'm a very, very spiritual person, man, and I'm learning now through my mother-in-law. Shout out to Mrs. Farmer. Um, I'm learning through you, man, that I'm going to lean on the Lord for this one. You know what I'm saying? To get him out of there as soon as possible, man. So, dear Lord, thank you for the opportunity to be becoming a father, man. I pray on many blessings on my son. I pray many blessings on my wife. And thank you for everybody who's going to throw up a prayer for me when they see this episode, Lord. I throw up a prayer for my son, that is, when they see this episode. In your son's name we pray. Amen. All right. So, Houston, Texas, man. Creatives going to create. All right. Creatives going to create, man. And, in the beginning of the episode, you saw me in the Where You From t-shirt. Man, like I said, episode 14 and every episode after the death of Nipsey Hussle, artists have come on and they've talked about the influence that he had, man. And, you know, me being a late bloomer, I don't think it's ever too late to really get into an artist. You know what I'm saying? Especially if you have a real connection with them when you get into them, right? So, yeah, man, as a creative, I've been sitting and I've been trolling with the thought of what's next. You know what I mean? That's why I named the podcast that, because that's the question that's always in my mind. What is next for you, John Ross? You know what I'm saying? And so with that being said, man, I started to think about what people are attracted to. You know what I'm saying? People are attracted to music. People are attracted to fashion like Sir John Monet. People are attracted to makeup like my sister. People are attracted to being a boss like Miss Blue. You know what I'm saying? People are attracted to poetry like Kodak. People are attracted to drawing like Bink. People are attracted to DJing and making people have a good vibe like DJ That Do, right? People also are attracted to where they're from. You know what I'm saying? It gives them a sense of pride. And I really got that feeling and that understanding and watching Nipsey, man. Everything he did was for the city of LA. Everything he did was for Crenshaw and Slauson. You know what I'm saying? And he repeatedly said that in his that's my wife. Excuse me, baby. Let me finish this podcast. I'm gonna get to you. He repeatedly said that in his music. And so with that, man, I was just like, yo, everybody everybody likes to represent where they're from, right? Everybody likes to represent where they're from. And I just want to give people that sense of a connection. You know what I'm saying? When people read this shirt, where you're from, on the back of mine, I'm always at Fondren on the back of mine. I'm from Fondren Road, the 12,500 block of Fondren Road. That's the part closer to Maine. Where zero says Fondren in the Maine, that's the part where I'm from. And, you know, I want people to have that same sense too. Whenever people should always, you know, have a connection to where they're from. And that's why I created that, man. That's one. I got a couple more steps, man. I promise you, man. You know, Nipsey's blueprint kind of provided me with the idea rather of what I want to do. You know what I'm saying? And how I'm going to get it. You know, I'm from the trunk with it, man. So later on this year, man, with the help of a feature that I'm bringing onto the podcast and actually trying to bring onto the team, with her assistance, man, I'm going to be putting out the first visual, man. You know what I'm saying? The first visual of myself and the lane that I like to be in. And you know, of course, you know, you rock it with me. There's going to be a little something out your pocket, man. You know, let me feed the family. You know what I'm saying? Let me feed the family. But that's how I plan to make my millions, man. Basically, my creativity, the way I want to do it. And I hope that you support that, man. Yeah, so we got a couple of projects online, man, and you know, a couple of ideas that we're trying to foster, a couple of ideas that we're trying to bring to life, and you know, it's not a sprint. It's like Trey Rogers said in episode number 6, marathon. It's not a sprint; it's a marathon, and you know, it's coincidental that that was Nipsey's hashtag. The marathon continues. I'm not gonna roll with that moniker because that's not my lane and that's not my phrase. But I understand it. You know what I'm saying? It's not a sprint, and it's not about who gets there first. It's about your journey and what you're doing, and that's what I'm doing right now, man. I'm trying to get it, man, and now I have the ultimate motivation. I got a baby boy to look after, man. He's a boy. He's here. He's breathing. And yeah, man, he ain't gonna. You know, every day his feet grow. Like Nas said, every day my daughter feet grow. Every day my boy feet grow. So he ain't gonna take no daddy or pop. I ain't got it. He ain't gonna take that. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not gonna have him take it, man. So Houston, Texas, man. Yeah, man, I appreciate your love and support. If you haven't streamed the previous 14 episodes, man, do so, man. Do so. This is the hottest podcast. Why do I say that, man? If you've noticed, every podcast, man, I wear a What's Next t-shirt, which by the way is available on the website, right? When you go to the website, don't just click on the website just because I'm telling you, go look at the website. I got an apparels tab. I got a vinyl pressing tab. I've got a podcast tab, a pictures, your galleries tab. I've got a About Us tab, man. Go to the website. Check out the website. You can access the SoundCloud from the website, YouTube from the website, Twitter from the website. All of that is accessible from the website. Go to the website. Check it out. You know what I'm saying? Hit me up. Tell me what you think about it, man. You know, the features we're bringing on the podcast, man. It's going to be a hot summer, man. It's going to be a hot summer. And I wanted to come to you every 6 to 7 episodes or so, I'm going to come to you. Hold on right quick. Houston, Texas, I'll be right back. Hold on. Hey, baby.
You sleep?
Nah.
What you doing?
I'm on the podcast right now.
You doing one or you?
I'm doing one. I'm about to wrap it up in a second.
Okay, because your mom is hungry.
All right, I'm finna wrap it up in a second. I'll be right there.
Okay.
All right.
So...
Say what's up to the podcast.
What's up, podcast?
We just had a baby boy.
Gil.
What's up?
What's up? So look, don't make her wait any longer because she's been here all day.
All right, I'm on the way.
Okay.
All
Is
right.
it anything that you want?
I'll probably grab it later on.
Okay. So call me when you leave the house so I can give you an order.
All right. What you want? The egg rolls?
Yeah.
All right.
All right, bye.
Yeah. Houston, we're back. Yeah, man. So she called once, right? And when she watches this episode, she'll see that I ignored it. But I couldn't ignore it a second time because I didn't know what it was about. But yeah, man, Houston, Texas, man. That's pretty much it, man. We got a couple of things brewing for the what is this? We're going into it's still May, so we're still in the second quarter. So in the third quarter, man, I got a couple of things to handle before we can really get out there, man. But listen, another thing too is this: it's finna be the summertime, man. And I didn't really do this right in episode number 13, but it's about to be the summertime, right? So listen, with it being the summertime, get out them hoodies, man. It's time to get your t-shirt game up. And I press t-shirts, man. Holla at me. Stillvisionary.com. I press t-shirts. I can press your t-shirts. I do them same night, man. You can have them same night. The Where You From t-shirt is on the website. My Still Visionary Inc. brand is on the website. You know what I'm saying? You can get Still Visionary Inc. You can get whatever you want on your t-shirt. I do t-shirts, sweaters, everything. Scullies, all of it, right? So holla at me, and I'm going to get your order as soon as possible, man. We do it same day, man. Houston, Texas, man. In the next 223 days, man, I want to see my kid grow. Okay. It's the summertime. School year's ending next week. Or rather, when you watch this episode, the school year will be ending next Friday. So if you're watching this episode on the 28th of May, school ends that Friday the 31st, right? Graduation for the class of 2019 across the city and across the country is Saturday, right? So to the new graduates, man, proud of y'all. Keep pushing. Hey, y'all got a creation? Come on to What's Next podcast, man. We're going to talk about it for about 20 to 40 minutes, man. Houston, Texas. In the next 223 days, I want to see my kid grow. But what's next for me? Your boy. Well, I'm a dad, man. Peace and blessings, y'all.
Yo, it feel like 95, Sachi on my body, Biggie, Jigger, Puffy, all that ballin' is a hobby. And I'm wildin' in my wallies, and them valleys, no Pilates. Moet get you Moet, nah that's the Spumante. My crystal ball, I see crystal, I crystal y'all with that. I saw the sign like Ace of Spades, that Ace of Spades get cracked me like cheers to the money guys, the Willie niggas who buy them bottles, and then they spill these liquors. Yo, salute my dude. I see you, dawg. 5 bottles, 1 dick. Why I need 2 bras? I know I'm out of line, but love is shower time. You know it rose rain when your cloud is 9. Get off that high ass hussy. This a private party. Been on my dick too long. Your breath on private party. You gon' be nice or naughty. These walls on priceless Audi. This the upper crust. Fuck is up. Over and done. Overdose. Guess we did it again.